Zynga Poker, a poker community that's aimed towards the casual player, a community full of pleasant individuals that are amazing at poker, a game that is completely random, only down to the skill of each individual player. Although, my question is Zynga random? Welcome back to part 5 of Is Zynga Random by Ben King. So, let's find ourselves a table and hopefully we'll get a bit close. Oh wow, a 10 million table. Okay, I'll join this. Okay, we'll just see how rigged Zynga Poker really is. The poker game online that is completely random. Oh wow. So I'm actually just after recording. It's not technically in this series, but I was recording a video. And I just sat down at a ring game. For those who do not know what a ring game is just a cash table. And I shoved every hand, and I was proving a point. Basically, my belief is, if a Zynga player has two cards, that's all they need. Two cards, they will always limp. So I sat down at this table, and I said to them, I am going to shove every hand. I am all in regardless of my two cards. And people still limped. And whenever I shoved, they're all surprised. Oh wow, I must fold now. And they kept doing it. I stayed at that table for 15 minutes. I kept saying to them, I am all in every hand. They still limped. I still shoved, as I said I would, and they still folded. The mentality of the average Zynga player is no more than that of the typical donk that you will find on any poker site online. It's absolutely ridiculous. You've got to ask yourself, if you're a decent poker player wanting to play free poker online, is Zynga Poker the choice that you want to make? You see, I would say no. Because, while you will make more chips than the other players will, you won't get a decent game of poker. And I suppose that's what's important. The fact that you're playing a free poker site sort of suggests that, you want the fun of playing poker, but you don't want the responsibility of having to buy in with actual money. And the fact that Zynga still make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars out of selling people virtual currency, whether it be casino gold or whether it be chips, brings up a moral question. If Zynga is actually rigged, then how are they allowed to keep doing this? I mean, like I said in the very, very first video, I asked them point blank, are all the cards that are dealt to each of the players on the flop, the turn, and the river completely random? And they refused to answer. They said it's against their privacy policy. Now, anyone who knows what a privacy policy is will understand that that has nothing to do with, let's say, a random number generator. A privacy policy has got to do with any information they take off players. For instance, if I asked, Zynga, will you tell me where this player lives? Then yes, they will say that is against our privacy policy. We cannot tell you that. They are completely within the law to do that. It is actually illegal for them to tell me that. But if I ask them, Zynga, is your game completely random? Or do you perhaps rig it in favour of certain outcomes over others? That is not against a privacy policy. I will tell you that. I did a course for 2.5 years, and it covered the privacy policy. It covered the Data Protection Act of 1998, and I can tell you point blank that nowhere does that say anywhere that would cover the likes of the workings of a site. It would be different if I asked for details of members, which, like I say, would be completely against the law for them to give me any information. And it would just be completely wrong. But time and time again, they have refused to answer a very, very simple question. Is your game completely random? And I I suppose I can't understand. You know, if it was random, why could they not just tell me? Why could they not just tell me that it was random? I mean, that would put my mind at rest. That would put anyone's mind at rest. For anyone who asked that question. But the fact that I sent them like 7, 8 messages back and forth. I asked them it in several different ways, and they still refused to answer. So my question, like I said at the start of the video, is Zynga rigged? Why would they avoid the question if they had nothing to hide? Why would they? It's quite simple, and this is episode 5 of my Is Zynga Rigged series, and so far I haven't actually been able to prove otherwise. But I will tell you that whenever I'm not recording, I get fucked all the time. I see the most ridiculous shit. I mean, I'm very familiar with poker odds. I know that Ace King against Ace 2, Ace King will win about 3/4 of the time. But whenever I play, it is not 3/4 of the time. I have played this game for 4 years. And I will tell you, Ace King does not win against Ace 2 3/4 of the time. Ace 2 wins the majority of the time. Whether that be 80% of the time, 90% of the time. But anyone who's ever studied mathematics will know that over a long period of time, that the chance, that probability will even out, and eventually that will get closer to the actual odds. And that's what makes me suspicious. That's what makes me really, really suspicious, because I've played this as long as I can remember, and it still doesn't even out. But back to the poker. Let's step away from the mathematics of the whole thing, and let's concentrate on the poker. Let's just focus on these professional players. Okay, so flop 2, 3, 5. I've got pocket sixes. I've got a gut shot straight flush draw. I've got an overpair to the board. Be unlucky if I was behind, but okay. So I actually managed to take the pot down somehow. I'll be honest, I'm quite surprised. Okay, so I've got Ace 10. I make a raise of 80. That's a big raise. I mean, if you've got fuck all, it's probably not a good idea to call that, but the Zynga professional will still manage to call any 2 cards, regardless of what they have. Okay, that's a big raise. I respect your raise. I just call. Okay, that's an interesting. I'm just gonna check here. I would probably do that on an action. Okay, so Tony the professional shoves. I'll just fold it. Oh wow, I've got pocket tens. Okay, so maybe this is my opportunity to show how fucked I actually am. Okay, so just remember, I joined a 10 million table. That is the biggest possible available sit and go available on Zynga. Now, for me, this isn't much. I've just under 2 billion. But for most players, this is a lot of chips. The flop comes 3, 9, 10. I have flopped a set. At this point, I think it isn't possible that I could be losing. I mean, considering I'm doing this live, I honestly believe there is no chance that I'm losing. I have a set. I have a set of 10. I cannot lose. Yet 2 people still call me. I am all in. I have got a set of 10s. I had the nuts on the flop. I cannot be losing. Yet Charles still calls. What does Charles have? What does he possibly have? 10 queen. You see, look, it even put the queen on the river to try and fuck me, but then Zynga realised, oh wait, you can't be beaten. Okay, good call there, Charles. Well played, even though I made a massive raise. Pre-flop, you still managed to call with queen 10. Wow. I mean, like I say, whenever I started making this series, it was supposed to, you know, show people how rigged Zynga is, but for the most part, it is actually just showing people how shit Zynga is. It really is. Oh wow, look, I'm Amalia. I just shove over like 1,000,000 players, because I'm professional like that. Oh wow. Well, okay, Amalia has pocket 10s, but of course pocket 5s win. Of course they win. Because they are miles behind. Worst hand wins again. Should we be surprised? No. Of course we shouldn't be surprised. Although, I mean, Tony must be professional. Oh wow, someone shoved and then someone re-shoved. I'm probably good with Queen Jack. Well, let me tell you, Tony, if you were playing online poker, you'd be absolutely fucking bankrupt. Because you are shite. Oh wow. Like, still, I'm really glad that I started this series. Now, from episode 1, I will promise my viewers, I have taken one. No, I will say this again. I've taken one try for each video. I haven't scrapped a single video. I'm literally just pressing record and joining a table. I am not choosing which videos I upload or which videos I upload. I'm literally uploading every video I produce here, and it just goes to show you. I mean, anyone who is familiar with online poker will just realize how terrible this is. Zynga are making millions day by day by day, selling virtual currency, and those willing to buy it, I feel really, really sorry for. I mean, why would you ever buy virtual chips on Zynga Poker? If you have so much money to spend that you have chips, or that you have money to spend on chips on Zynga, just join 888. Please, please, for the sake of God, just join 888. At least whenever you buy $10 worth of chips, you are getting $10. If you double up, you can withdraw $20. If you double up on Zynga, you fuck all. All you have is virtual chips. You have nothing. You can do nothing with that. I'm saying this as someone who's never bought chips on Zynga, and as someone who has made a lot of profit on 888. Do not buy chips on Zynga. Do not buy casino gold on Zynga. Do not buy anything that Zynga sell, whether it be Farmville, whether it be Bubble Safari, whether it be Mafia Wars, or whether it be Zynga Poker. Do not buy into it. It is fucking outrageous. The amount of money they are making off gullible players is unreal. The amount of players I come across that have literally just joined, and they've bought like 40 million, and they lose it within the first hour they play it. I mean, what is the point of that? Seriously, why don't you just go out and buy yourself a console? If you seriously feel like spending money on games, go out and buy yourself a console, and go out and buy yourself some games. At least if you lose at those games, you will still have the game. If you buy millions of chips on Zynga and lose them, you have nothing. You have as much as any other Zynga player. Zynga is free. There is no reason to buy chips, yet people still feel the need to buy chips, and I do not know why. It really, really annoys me. Like, I will admit from a business perspective, it's really good. But other than that, there's no point. There's absolutely no point. Okay, so back to the poker. I feel like I've been ranting long enough. I got ace 10. Okay, so I hit my ace on the flop. I raise to 280. Okay, so my hand actually managed to hold. You see, I think from now on, all I'm ever going to do is I'm just going to play Zynga while recording, because it seems while I'm recording, I can't lose. I just can't lose while I'm recording. Yet if I wasn't recording, and I had ace 10 there against king 2, king 2 would have royally fucked me. Not a doubt. Not a doubt about it. Fuck me. Seriously? But I don't know. Like I say, I'm running quite well, so I'm quite pleased with with that. But if you take anything from these videos, if you take anything at all from these videos, please do not buy Zynga chips. Do not buy them. It's a waste of money. You're nearly better going out onto the streets and just buying drink. At least that way you will actually have a good time. At least that way you've actually got a chance of getting laid. Rather than buying like 50 million Zynga chips, losing them all, and then having fuck all. There's no point in it. I mean, if I've managed to survive up to this point without buying any chips at all, so can anyone else. It's quite simple. Oh, Tony is professional. He bets 60 in a pot of 450. Tony, you're really good at poker. Please teach me how to play. He checks because he's got fuck all. And Michael checks behind him. Okay. King, queen against ace 2. Oh wow, how could I have ever guessed the hands? I check. I check again. Oh. I'll be honest with you, I could rant about Zynga for hours. I could literally just click the record button, not do anything, and just rant for hours about Zynga. Zynga is so fucked up. Zynga is a monopoly. Zynga owns all of the major games on Facebook, and people still buy into it. And I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Why do people spend so much money on virtual items, virtual currency, virtual chips? Just, oh, it really, really annoys me. I just don't... I call, I've got an up and down, straight draw, I don't care, I call. Good check. The other thing I want to ask, just ask in general, you know, why would you ever buy chips? Isn't it a lot more fun to earn your chips? If you buy, let's say, 50 million chips, and you sit down at a table and you're like, oh wow, I've got 50 million chips, I'm really good at poker. The fact is, that's bullshit. He's bought them. Yet, it's a lot more satisfying when you sit down at a table with almost 2 billion, and everyone's like, oh wow, you've got so many chips, you must be really good. And you can reply to them and say, yeah, I actually am really decent at poker. It's so much more satisfying. Like I say, I mean, I started this series originally to determine whether Zynga Poker was in fact rigged or whether it is actually random. But I mean, it sort of accidentally turned into, you know, almost like a boycott against Zynga. I mean, I don't hate Zynga Poker. I mean, obviously I enjoy playing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played it for 4 years straight. But I am very much against how Zynga like to make money. I mean, I'm a very business-minded person. I know what makes a good business, but it's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. All they do is just... they just get very weak-minded people and offer them, just like I say, virtual items or virtual currency or whatever they offer, and all they do is pester people for money, pester people to share their shitty fucking games with their friends, pop-ups, play this and you will get 1 million chips. You know, it's just all the same bullshit. Zynga just mass produces games to make money. And I mean, it's not even in the subtle way like video games. At least that way, whenever you buy a video game, you have that video game for life unless you decide to get rid of it. But if you buy virtual currency or virtual items on Zynga Poker, you haven't gained anything. All you've done is lost money. It really, really is ridiculous. And Tony must be professional. Tony is really, really good. Oh, I noticed that he's been betting with fuck all, like every fucking hand. Our raise to 300. If Tony re-raises here, I'm all in, because he's shite. Nope, he didn't. I've got Ace King, I'm fucked. A raise. A raise, motherfucker. You know, what sort of name is that? Yvonne Nick. I fold. I have nothing again. I don't know, people, but like I say, seriously consider, like, if you ever are tempted to buy chips on Zynga, just think about it. Just think about what you're actually buying. I've got 2-7, I fold. No, but seriously, just think about what you're buying. You go onto Zynga Poker, okay, it's a free game. If you have $10 free, let's say, why buy Zynga chips? Why not just join 888? At least that way, if you win chips, you can withdraw them. You can actually make money that way. I mean, I'm not necessarily encouraging people to join actual poker sites, but I'm just saying, if you have so much money that you feel the need to spend money on virtual chips on Zynga Poker, you might as well join an actual poker site. There's no point in spending money on a free game. Seriously, I will tell you that point blank. Because whenever you buy chips, you're so fucked, you will lose them all, no matter how you play. Zynga Poker is in favour of those who don't buy chips, which which makes me wonder at times why I get fucked over so many times. But seriously, the stories that I have heard of, when people buy shit, like a friend of mine, okay, he bought like 54 million chips, and he joined a cash table. The max buy-in was like 40 million. He had pocket kings. Flop came ace king. Now, anyone who's ever played poker will know that that is an absolutely outstanding hand. The chances of you ever losing there are just phenomenal. You will barely ever lose. They end up all in, and what are they against? Ace king. Now tell me that isn't rigged. You will not see that shit anywhere else. You won't. You really, really won't. And I mean, the chances of that happening first hand, just unreal. Yeah, and they ended up losing 40 million of the chips that they just bought. They ended up losing almost 80% of the chips that they had purchased. Now, please tell me that that isn't a method that Zynga are using to try and encourage people to buy more chips. Like, seriously, you flop the second nuts, and you're gonna lose all your chips. It's unreal, people. Really. If if you ever need to talk about how Zynga Poker really is, just talk to me. I will tell you how it works. I've said this in previous videos, time after time. A while back, I contacted Zynga, simply asking them, is your poker game random or not? And they wouldn't answer. They made a shitty excuse, saying that it was against their privacy policy to answer. That was bullshit. I knew what privacy policies are. And let's face it, if they had nothing to hide, they would simply tell me, yes, is random. You may have been unlucky in the past, but our game is random. But they simply wouldn't answer it. It raises a lot of suspicion. And why shouldn't it? Why would they hide it? Why would they hide something that they're not guilty of? The fact of the matter is, if Zynga Poker was completely random, they would have simply told me, our game is random, you can get unlucky, but the fact of the matter is... Sorry, no, but the fact of the matter is, you can get unlucky, but they didn't say that. They said, oh, we can't answer your question, it is against our privacy policy, blah 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 blah. Like I say, I know how odds work in Texas Hold'em poker, and most of the times they don't work out. Ace 5 against 8s. Well, 8s are well and truly fucked. That's amazing. Also, I notice this pattern a lot. Whenever a hand is completely crushed, if they don't win on the river, they will flop the complete fucking nuts on the flop. Ace 5 against 8s. 8s is about 65% approximately, just off the top of my head. And Ace 5 is like, oh wow, I just flopped the nuts straight on the river, or on the flop. Same bullshit, different day. Like I say, if anyone has any questions about Zynga Poker or how it works, or even if you have any questions about online poker in general, please do not feel shy about asking. I will answer any of your questions, even if you want to leave it in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer them. 4-7 against 3-7. 3-7 wins, even though 3-7 is completely fucking crushed. 4-7 is about 70% to win. 3-7 is about 20% to win, and it's 10% or something to tie. Like I said earlier, same shit, different day. It really all comes down to whether the fact Zynga wants you to win or not. If Zynga wants you to win, you're gonna win. It doesn't matter what 2 cards you have, you are gonna win. But if Zynga wants you to lose, you're gonna lose, no matter what you have. Okay, I've got pocket 7s in the big blind. Let's see, how will I get fucked? Well, I've got a call. Ace Jack. Well, okay, it's a flip. Okay, fair enough. For once, I didn't get fucked by a completely stupid all-in. It's actually quite nice. Because usually whenever I lose an all-in like that, I'll be against something like Ace 7 against 7s, and Ace 7 will always win. Oh my word. I'm actually trying to think, while I'm sort of playing this, of any really bad beats that have happened to me recently. I suppose I can't actually think of any major. Oh, actually, yeah. Earlier today, I sat down at a 500k table, and second hand, I got pocket kings, and it was just the usual fucking rigged scam bullshit. So yeah, I got pocket. Oh my word, I'm all in. I'm all in with my pocket kings. considering I have like 8 big blinds. Oh wow, Tony is all in. With pocket 8s, well fair enough. And there we go. There we go, guys. For once, I got beat with not a completely ridiculous all-in, but at the same time, ah well. It gives me ace-king, I'm fucked. It gives me any premium hand, I'm fucked. It doesn't matter what you have. If Zynga wants you to win, you will win. If Zynga wants you to lose, you will lose. But what have we learned from this session of Zynga? Well, I actually suppose we've learned fuck all because, well, other than the fact that just the shit players win. The shit players always win. Like Tony. Oh wow, I'm Tony. I raised like 1,000,000 big blinds with my fuck all. Just, how do you do it? I really want to be psychic like Tony. Just, it would make online poker a lot easier. I'll tell you that. But guys, I'm gonna leave it there for part 5 of Is Zynga Rigged? And at this point, I would say I'm probably 50-50 on whether Zynga's rigged. But we'll have to see in future episodes like what my conclusion is. Okay guys, thanks for watching Is Zynga Rigged? And I will hopefully see you next time. Bye!